In the year 1914, busy CBD streets in cities across Australia would host vibrant military parades. Thousands of enlisted infantry and cavalry soldiers would march before huge crowds, before boarding ships and embarking on a journey to what we now know as the Great War. These parades were proud moments for our young nation, forming the foundation of what would become the Anzac spirit. Now, 100 years after the 2nd Light Horse Regiment rode through the streets of Brisbane, the Australian Light Horse Association has the opportunity to once again ride the same streets. It's a tremendous task, requiring tedious training and extensive preparation. Around 100 Light Horse Association riders from across Australia will take part in the commemorative ride, which is part of Brisbane's annual River Fire celebrations.
It's a tremendous privilege and an honour to actually ride in the footsteps of those forebearers. We're going off on a difficult parade. They actually went off to war.
The horses and their riders face a daunting task, with Super Hornets and other military aircraft performing low-altitude flyovers throughout the day.
This is a very challenging ride, and everyone here's put 110% in.
The Light Horse Association has set up camp just outside Brisbane CBD, not far from where tens of thousands will gather for River Fire.
It's huge. It's huge. It's a one-in-a-lifetime event. It's a chance to honour the guys that went away.
The horses will need to be on their best behaviour, and the riders are working hard to prepare the animals for the journey. Amanda Thomas has already suffered an injury during morning rehearsals.
He took fright with the smoke and the helicopters, and we connected.
It'll be a tough journey for even the experienced riders, and Amanda's hoping her nerves don't get the better of her.
So hopefully he's got nerves of steel. That's the main thing, is the horse has nerves of steel and he'll carry me through.
The Light Horse riders work hard to replicate the original uniforms and equipment used in 1914.
But yeah, you need to get it shorter because your belt's sitting too low to your belt.
Edward Hoff is looking forward to the biggest ride of his life.
I'm very privileged to actually ride a Whaler stallion. He's probably the only stallion here. He's Clayton Potty Dodger, so he was bred out in the Birdsville track, out at Clayton Station. So he's done a lot, seen a lot, and for him, this is all easy stuff.
The Whaler breed quickly became a popular choice for the soldiers because of their speed, strength and agility.
So these guys were bred to be hardy creatures that lived on next to no water, next to no food, and they just survived in very harsh conditions, and they were renowned as the best cavalry horse in the world. We exported close to 500,000 of them.
With just hours until the ride is set to begin, the Light Horse riders go through their final rehearsals.
Right, well.
The commemorative ride is due to begin in the late afternoon and will cover a 7-kilometre track around Brisbane CBD, including Edward and Adelaide Streets and the Queen Street Mall. The riders have formed 3 troops, and final rehearsals are completed before a military inspection.
I'm acutely conscious of the enormous effort in time, energy and logistics that you've put into being here today. Good luck with the ride this evening. Your presence will add very much to the occasion and present the Anzac tradition most admirably.
And finally, the historic journey is underway.
Trot! Walk! March!
streets are closed to allow the procession of horses to make their way into the heart of Brisbane.
Well, you couldn't help but think as you're riding through, even with all the modern noise, and you're going, okay, so this is a little bit of what they would have experienced.
The group passes the iconic City Hall in King George Square before making their way towards Adelaide Street, where excited crowds are waiting. Similar to the parade 100 years earlier, crowds gather on either side of Adelaide Street.
I was surprised at how many people were there.
I didn't expect to see so many people out this time of day lining the streets, no.
History has come to life for thousands of Queenslanders.
People were waving and people were getting quite teary, and kids were waving and we were waving back, and oh yeah, the crowds were magnificent. We really loved it.
People were shouting out from the sides, you know, well done, and just praising our efforts, and I felt really humbled by that.
I'm just ecstatic with the success so far. Horses are behaving perfectly. We're just about to have a hornet go over, so it could be a bit noisy. Off to the Story Bridge now, then the fun will really start.
For the first time in more than half a century, the Story Bridge will play host to the Light Horse.
You drive over it how many times, and to be able to be on a horse riding over it at night, you know, with all the lights, and it was a great experience. Loved it.
To go through that smoke on the Story Bridge was just incredible, because we practiced here in the daylight and they wouldn't go near it. They didn't like it.
Looking back to see the silhouette of the horsemen with the smoke behind them, that was amazing.
We were in the second line of horses riding through. It was the greatest experience that I've had, yes, for sure.
In the dark on the Story Bridge, we just walked through and the horses saw us through.
Very surreal. We weren't expecting that.
And with that, the journey had finally come to an end, with plenty of stories to share back at camp.
My grandfather was in his parade 100 years ago, so I am so proud to be here.
I'm just amazed that all these people came together to do such a thing.
Wonderful, wonderful. Brisbane's done us proud. They've done the memory of the guys that rode away in 1914 proud. That's important.
Just being with everyone has just been great. You know, just all the horses performed very, very well.
And perhaps it'll make people track down a great uncle who they didn't really know, but now they find he was in the light horse or he was in the infantry or he did something.
It means a lot to me to be at something like this today.
Well, 28 years I've done quite a few rides, but I think this one's been the biggest and probably the most significant.